Hey there, friendlies. How's up? Welcome to the 21st of April episode of the Beer Blades and Bushcraft live stream. Got some beer, got some blades, and we're going to talk about stuff. Some bushcrafty, some maybe not. The theme for tonight's show is how the hell are you guys staying sane during the pandemic? Are you all locked down like I am? I assume you probably are. One thing before we start, though, how's the sound off this mic? This is a different mic than I usually use. It's a little easier to set up than the other one. Does it sound okay? Let me know. Can you hear me? In fact, I'm just going to adjust a few things here so that I can hear what's going on. Now, I have got to set my sound control panel, which I forgot to do. We're really pro here tonight, guys. Really pro. Okay, there we go. So back to what we were talking about. How's everyone doing? Not as crisp, but it works. How's that? I've got a bunch of switches on this thing, so I'm not sure which way to go. And I can't actually hear anything, so I think we're going to be okay, though. A perfect night for a mutiny? Wait a minute. So yeah, the question I was asking, how is everyone doing with the sanity thing? The reason I'm asking is because I'm not entirely sure that I'm staying sane, to be honest with you. Hey, Ace T7, how's it going? K-Bones here. Nice to see you. Jake, nice. Mark's here. Simone, of course. Tyler's here. It's a good crew we got going. I'm glad to see all you guys here. If we can get to, hey, Jonathan, how's it going? I'm just checking my audio because I'm not actually getting any sound back. And that would be why. I do believe that might be a little better. Okay. So yeah, I was thinking about, it's funny because Kevin Callan was on the CBC today. Strangely, I listened to the entire show he was supposed to be on, and he didn't come on in Montreal, but he was talking about something related to what I wanted to discuss tonight, and that is how do you sort of keep your contact with the woods alive at a time like this when you can't actually go anywhere. And I found that sort of a compelling question because of the fact that it was related to what I wanted to talk about tonight. I kind of wish that I'd been able to hear his interview, but that's just how it happens sometimes. Am I right? I'm still figuring out the tech things here. Hey, Serge, how's it going? Tenenbaum's here. Hi. How many of you guys checked out the Canoe Hound Adventures live show before this show tonight? I was watching it. I was enjoying it. I think it was a really good episode tonight. Hey, Jerry's Woodshop and Outdoors. How's it going? I'd like to reiterate something that I say fairly often, and that's that if you guys have the time, Dennis's show is definitely worth your while before mine comes on. He does a very good job. And he's a good guy. That was really weird. Did you guys hear that? My sound is all messed up tonight. I gotta tell you. Hold on a second here, guys. This is really weird. This is really pro-y. I should have worked this out before. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Oh, guys. I don't know, man. I just don't know. Hey, Hike with Mike. How's it going? Yeah, Simo, I think so too. I think it didn't get broadcast. I don't know what's going on with that. I was looking forward to it, and it just didn't happen. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that. Okay, so if I click into YouTube, I can hear myself. I just can't hear myself in StreamYard. Okay. Yeah, Tenenbaum. Paul Kirtley is on with Kevin tomorrow. I know. I love it. I'm definitely going to try my best to listen to that, to watch that live, because Paul Kirtley is one of those guys who I have listened to. Not so much watched his YouTube channel, but I've listened to his podcast a lot. I love it. He does very good interviews. He really knows his stuff, obviously, and I feel his show is just kind of interesting. You know, there's always something, and it's not always bushcrafters. You know, sometimes it's like a flint knapper, or you know, some sort of a primitive skill, or even like just a hiker. Very, very good stuff. How's my volume, by the way, guys? StreamYard is giving me a whole bunch of crap tonight, so I don't know what's going on here. I don't know what's going on at all, but yeah, I'm having all kinds of weird issues happening here. I just don't want to suddenly disappear on you guys or anything, you know? The mic is very quiet now. Okay. All right. This is so professional. Hold on. If I do this, do I come back a little stronger? Is that better? So the audio went down a lot. Crumbs. Okay. Is that still bad, or is that a little better? No, it wasn't your earphones, Serge. I'm having issues tonight. I don't want to like stop the live stream and start again, kind of thing, because I feel that I will lose some of the. There we go. The problem is the audio controls in StreamYard are very rudimentary. So yeah, I don't know what's going on. I don't know. Maybe I. Sorry about that. How was that? Well, I thought it might have been a bad connector too, but it's it's a different mic than I'm used to. No whiskey tonight, man. It's a beer night for me. Better like that? Okay. Because I still can't hear anything unless I click into the YouTube page. So let's just briefly talk about the beer. What I got here is Northern Summit by Farnham Ale and Lager, which is based here in Quebec. Though strangely, they also have a factory in Vermont. So when I try to untap a Farnham beer, it always shows the Vermont location. This is a double New England India Pale Ale. My wife brought this back for me. She knows I don't like IPAs. This was right next to the beer she thought she was getting. So I'm going to try it anyway. Who else has got beer? And then I want to really get into the conversation here. I want to know what you guys are doing to stay sane during this extraordinary time. Because as I said earlier, I'm not sure that I'm maintaining my sanity, to be straight with you. Just take a break for the pour. Hope I'm not doffing it up completely. It's an IPA, so I'm not that excited about it. But if I really hate it, I have an emergency backup beer. Who's got Natty? Hike with Mike's got Natty Light. Okay. I have never had it. Jake Levesque, you got some... you got a beer? What you got? What are my audio settings on my computer? It's I've got it set to... Hold on. I've already checked it. I've got everything set to my sound box here. And it's just not giving me any love here. None at all. Oh well. I'm not gonna waste my time on it. It's not what you guys are here for. I'll just deal. Here we go. IPA. Yep, that's an IPA, all right. Black cherry soda, Nick. I used to love that back when I was still drinking. I don't really drink colas or anything. I'll still drink root beer, or stuff like ginger beer or spruce beer or whatever. Some more ginger ale, but I don't really drink Coke or anything like that anymore. And even those other things I don't drink very often. But man, I used to love like a black cherry cola. Everyone say hi to Nick. Yes, Jonathan Milley, working from home with 2 young kids is not fun. It is terrible. It's also... it's very rewarding in some ways, and it's... excuse me. But I end up working really late to make up for the lost time kind of thing. I would also like to point out that it's not that bad, at least. Serge, I really, really wish we could get together for a beer right now. I can't stand the fact that you're dealing with this under lockdown. It drives me crazy. Hike with Mike drinks IPAs often, but when you do, you drink Stump Knocker, an awesome IPA out of Gainesville, Florida. So that's kind of just in your backyard, isn't it? Or pretty damn close. But yeah, so Serge, you're probably going slightly nuts right about now. What are you using as a coping mechanism? And by the way, guys, this is a bushcraft channel. I am most interested in hearing about outdoorsy stuff, but tonight, if the way you're dealing with our situation is not outdoorsy, I'll still take it. Most of the people I know are suffering right now in some way or other. Some are doing a very good job of keeping it together publicly and falling apart on the inside, which is what I'm trying to do, but I'm very grumpy these days. I had to run to the pharmacy because, of course, we're dealing with this and a very sick younger daughter. She's got another double ear infection. So I had to run to the pharmacy tonight, and I was just so bitchy about it, man, because people kept sort of cutting in front of me in line or getting too close, not staying the 2 meters away. And I was just, man, I was grumpy about it. I was like, I got into line and some guy from way back there said, "Excuse me, I was there." And like they had these footprints on the floor where you're supposed to stand. And I said, "You're supposed to be here. So get over here." And I traded places with him. But like, that's just the way I was dealing with people tonight, you know? I find it stressful to go out. I want to clarify something here. Those of you who know me or are on the Signal stream with me or something, you'll know that I live in the worst hit borough of the worst hit city in the worst hit province in Canada for this thing. So we're not allowed to really move around. I'm not allowed to leave my neighborhood. There are some, check checkpoints, check blocks, roadblock places where the cops stop people and say, "Where are you going?" Um, so I find it very stressful to go out and do the groceries or whatever. And tonight I was at the pharmacy and just like stop funking with me kind of thing. Um, yeah, and the way I'm dealing is I'm living vicariously, through YouTube's books, magazine articles, but everything I watch right now has to do with the forest or a canoe or the seaside or something. In my normal day to day, I will be happier there than I am in a city. In my normal day to day, I have to get there in order to remain um, civil with the people I know in my day to day life. And I find that having zero possibility of getting away from where I am to be weighing very heavily on my head. I've got a tendency towards kind of depression anyway. I've got this thing I call my big black dog that just every now and again comes and I was like, ugh. Um, and so right now I'm feeling it real hard. Um, but it's amazing how having a 1.5-year-old around the house can really sort of lighten everything up a lot. I spend a lot of attention on my daughters. Um, During normal times, I'm their biggest fan, and right now it's just like the light little moments, especially because Clemence, the young one, she's developing into like a little girl. She doesn't look like she's not all baby fat anymore. She can run around. She started saying things, like I'm clearly Dada. Her mother's clearly Mama. Uh, Camille is clearly Lala. Don't know where that comes, but she's also said pizza. Um, Whenever she goes to put something in the garbage, she says dedans, which means in there, inside. I have no idea. I'm translating on the fly here. And so watching this stuff happen really helps me pull out of the the, my big black dog's asshole. Um, but yeah, the way I'm dealing with this is escapism. I watch a lot of YouTubes. I'm making a lot of cocktails. I used to be one of these guys back when I was in my 20s. I would host a party and spend the whole damn time mixing up martinis for other people. I used to really get off on coming up with new cocktails and excuse me, stuff like that. And I'm really sort of diving back into that in a big, big way. There are two YouTube channels I've been watching that feed that nicely. One is How to Drink. That's with Greg, and one is the Educated Bartender. I think. You know what? I'm just blithering on. I'm just going to see the side chat here because I asked you guys how you're dealing, and then I just bleep, 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 bleep. Muskoka Mad Tom is your favorite IPA. I've never tried it. I keep looking for an IPA to like. I found one. It's made at the Bad Tattoo Brewery in Penticton. Delicious. Um, but that's the only one I've ever actually liked. Uh, and it's impossible to get here. So I'm looking for one that I can get that I can say, okay, I like this because my tastes with Scotch and with beer are both sort of trending in the same direction. Um, I love stout, I love porter, okay, but as I'm getting older or something, those are becoming more of a wintertime choice. And for summertime, I'm looking for something a little lighter, a little something that sort of dashes across the tongue rather than sort of sits there. So I keep trying IPAs and thinking if I can find one that I really like, I'll call that a win.
Um, um, hold on. I'm really behind here, guys. Sorry about that. Um, I'm just scrolling up to see where close by they also make awesome non-alcoholic ginger beers. I do love ginger beer. Um, two reasons. I like sort of the sharp, the gentian rip of a good ginger beer, but I also like a dark and stormy. And that's for those of you who don't know, that is specifically uh crap. What's the name of that rum with the seal on it on the with the black seal on the label? Oh well, that company trademarked this drink. Okay, so it's supposed to be that rum with a very specific ginger beer, but I don't like being marketed too much. I have that rum and I very much like it. I can't get it in Quebec, so I pick it up whenever I'm in Ontario. What the hell is it called? I don't. Oh well. I don't- Hey, Creative Redundancy is here. How's it going? Um, Tenenbaum is catching up with a long backlog of equipment repairs. Nice, nice. You're being productive. I like it. Um, Simone says I've added a project that I wish temporarily. We decided to shuffle the house and fix a few things around the house. That's also a very good option. I'm just making sure that Paul, no, I'm getting a couple of notices here. Some people didn't get the notice that I was going live tonight, and of course, because I didn't go on last week, I can't just say, "Dude, it's Tuesday night, 9 o'clock." Jake Levick says, "You tell him, bro." Man, I was pissed off. Oh, I was like, "You're supposed to be here." The guy looked uncomfortable, but he sort of moved over. Um, So actually, it's somewhat outdoorsy. I take walks after the kids are in bed. For those who don't know, I'm still living in the house, so soon-to-be ex-wife is at home at the time. I cannot imagine how uncomfortable that must be, Serge. I cannot imagine. I'm someone who treasures his alone time. I like to be alone. I like to be alone with my thoughts, um, or to just I don't know work on some music or play a video game or like I'm a guy who really treasures his solo time. Um, Hold on, and that's liking the people that I live with. I couldn't imagine how it would be to be in Serge's situation right now. I mean, I've been through a bunch of breakups. Let me tell you, um, but not like this. And I think that there are people going through this right now. Serge is not the only one, and I can't believe it. I don't know what I would do. I would just hang out down here in the basement 24/7 or go upstairs to pee or something. Jonathan, my wife is a nurse. I'll start showing people's comments. So I'm home with the kids by myself. We want to take the kids for a hike, but the weather always foils it on the weekends. Yeah, here's the thing. My wife and I are both essential services. Um, but we're both working mostly from home and trying to trade off caring for the kids. It's something else. Tyler is keeping sane via crafts. Of course you are. Having new boots and being able to simply make is everything. Yeah, those new boots of yours. For those of you who don't know, Tyler just bought himself some. I think it was Red Wings, right? The which ones were they? The I don't remember which model, but yeah, nice new boots. And Tyler makes everything. He's a maker, guys. He's a straight up maker. Nice leather work. Hike with Mike says, I'm in a bit more rural area, so far it's been really awesome dealing with this situation. Yeah, not me. Montreal is a hellhole right now. It's not even a hellhole. It's just very bloody deserted. And if you don't follow the rules, the fine is between $1,000 and $6,000. It's just like, I'm not playing music right now, so I'm losing probably about $2,500 a month. So if I get fined an extra grand, like just straight up my income, my day job income, is not enough to maintain this channel. It's not enough to maintain bass strings, or if a microphone blows on me or something. It's enough to maintain the house and food and 2 children. So to me, the idea of being fined right now is terrifying. So I'm just following the rules for 2 reasons. Well, the other reason I'm not going to talk about online. And I thought I was going to have all this time to, read many books and build many things, but I don't, because of the way the missus and I are going back and forth with work and the kids. We're both working late into the night. I'm trying to catch up here, guys. Everyone's saying hi to each other. Dishwasher. Hey, Nate. Yes, and knots. Nate and I have challenged each other to knots. Although, oh no, you did mention a knot that I should learn. That's true. I made a video for Nate. He sent me a video through Facebook, because it doesn't work out the same way both ways. Like, I mentioned Nate on the YouTubes, but he doesn't have the same platform. Like, it doesn't work quite the same way the other way. But Nate, you did really well on that knot, and it's a good knot, eh? That's a very good knot. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, watch my last video. Okay. Anyways, Nate, it's nice to see you here. I saw you were at Dennis's live stream before this. That was a good live stream, man. How to drink is a lot of fun. Yeah, Tim too, Tenenbaum. I created a drink that is a loose riff off of a drink that Tenenbaum told me about, which will go into a future video. That's all I'm going to say about that. I've got a plan. Whoops. Oh no, I just lost my place. Hold on. Oh, you guys are just talking so fast. Hold on. Oh no. Matt Goslings, yes. Tyler, yes. I am so far behind. Sorry, guys. How to drink is a lot of fun. Yes, it is. You're not tying genius. Just learning some basic ones to help pass some time, Nate says. Jake is back to the IPAs. Another amazing one is by Stray Dog, and it's called Shag and Wagon. It's a light citrus IPA. I've never had anything like it. Good to know. I like citrus. I just don't like hoppy bitterness. I like bitter as well, but not hoppy. Tenenbaum, not an IPA fan. A lot of Sierra Nevada. They might have it at LCBO. Next time I'm in Ontario, I might check it out. Oh, Jake, the Shag and Wagon's from Orleans. Maybe I'll check it out as well. Goslings. Hike with Mike says, in times of trouble, I'll show this. I always go back to the words of my favorite president, Theodore Roosevelt. Do what you can with what you have and where you are. Yeah, those are good words. Hey, Alain's here. How's it going? Both the Belso brothers are here. Nice. Alain, I'm hurting for your brother, man. Have you had any innocent gun oak aged beer? Yes, sir. I like it. I'm very, very into it. Get in touch with Rain Dance Bushcraft if you need help on a few knots. We're challenging each other. Nate. Why not, right? Oh. Every bushcrafter should love Teddy's quote. That's a good point. Yeah, Nate learned the Prusik. That not to me, the Prusik is an important one because that was the one where learning it and making it work for me gave me made me feel like a bushcrafter. Like some notes I was about to say, because some knots I learned. It's like, okay, cool, but that one I don't know what it was about that one, but it just like, oh, I got that little feeling in the tummy that I just like I just became, shift just became real to a certain extent. It's a great knot, and it's so useful. um Simo ended up in this situation. He promised to do certain jobs when he had the time. He is cursed now with having the time. Yep. um I'm almost caught up, guys. Got it. You have a Grandsford Brooks small forest axe, but you're thinking of also getting a Husqvarna 13-inch hatchet. Do you think it's worth it? Hey, here's a good question, guys. Not related to what we're talking about tonight, but playing with axes helps my head, so it's kind of related on my front at least. Yeah, I get it. It's not a very big difference, but it is big enough that it's all about where you're using your axe, right? If I'm carving something, I don't want my small forest axe, for instance, because as soon as that haft can get caught up in your clothes or your legs or something while you're trying to work one-handed or something, it's too bloody long. Like a 13-inch, that's a nice small size. My smallest hand axe or hatchet is a 10-inch handle. It's fabulous. You got to get really close to what you're working on, though, right? Because if you're too the shorter the handle is, or the haft, the more dangerous the axe is. Like even the small forest axe, I like to kneel down while I'm using, so that if I miss it, okay, I'm fixing the bit, but I'm not fixing my knee. So the smaller you get, the closer you got to get to your work. But yeah, I think if you got a small forest axe, the 13-inch hatchet is, yeah, you can still find a use for that in your toolbox. Excuse me, guys. Oh yeah, Red Wing Blacksmiths. That's the one. Slap your mama. Hey, Anthony, how's it going? Anthony, I'm still using that slap your mama. It's not universally loved in the house. It's a flavor that I like a lot, but not everyone does. So whenever I'm alone making myself some food, I slap my mama. Just sprinkle that stuff on there, but I don't do it for family suppers. I add a little bit sometimes when I just want to sneak a tiny bit of zing, but not enough for the kids to be like, well, for the elder daughter to be like, no. Can't store a canoe. Yep. Hey, Sandals, does this mean you found a place? I'm gonna call you after this or text you or some damn thing. Whenever. I guess you're probably out of work right now, eh? And Nate says something that is my life right now, because I had all these plans to read, but it ain't happening. It's mostly YouTube. And Nick Hyatt has kept herself busy with cleaning and doing all the finals week homework for my online college course, as well as doing some crafty things and posting more on the business page. I keep forgetting that you guys are both still of student age. My last project in university, I spent 5 days in a film editing bay, working and working and working. And when I made the last splice of my final project film, I did the last splice. I walked outside, and soundproof doors, right? So open that door, you sort of hear, you know. I walked out, closed the door, sat down, and just bawled like a baby. That was a long time ago. I graduated from university in 2000. I was supposed to graduate in 1999, but I was missing one course. Excuse me. Nate says, I have videos. Going to post on my Insta. I didn't know you had videos. I mean, what I mean is, I know that you're an Instagrammer rather than a YouTuber, which I think is a really nice choice. People are stumbling over themselves to become YouTubers. And at this point, like, I'm still doing it because I've been doing this for like, what, 8 years now? Okay. But if I was just coming to it fresh, I think I might do more what you're doing than this. Because honestly, YouTube is a very cool platform and it's an utterly garbage company to work with. Absolutely. It's borderline abusive. Hey, Winder's here. How's it going? Oh crap, I just lost my place again. No. Where was that? Where was that? All right, Mark. I see what you're doing. Hawaii Volcano Squad is here. Nice. Tyler, yeah. I've never tried it yet, but I it's a compelling process. I've watched it on the YouTubes, and I think at least one Ray Mears episode, and I found it fascinating. Yeah, creative redundancy. Tyler forges, so I could see it really being a good being able to make your own charcoal is probably a good skill to have. But now, does charcoal get hot enough? I had heard there was something else that blacksmiths often use. Is it coke? I think I don't really remember, but there was something else because charcoal doesn't always get hot enough or something. Or am I just completely wrong on this? Am I believing in something that is absolutely wrong? Yeah, creative redundancy. I'm with you. I would like to get into forging at some point as well. Outdoor dauber in the house. Sorry, what I meant is, oh, hi, outdoor. Hike with Mike is staying sane by enjoying cooking home cooked meals each day and using the barbecue. For me, that is one positive of being in the situation. Here's the thing: we don't have a barbecue this year because the bottom fell out of our barbecue last year. Like literally, I was working in the yard and I heard this, and I looked up at the barbecue, and the bottom had rotted away and finally just fallen along with a whole pile of ash. And we haven't gotten around to buying one this year. And I would love a barbecue that's also a smoker. So as soon as you say that, suddenly everything becomes really expensive. And I'm not gigging. So I'm out like 2,500 bucks a month, which would buy a really nice barbecue. You know? So we're gonna have to get a barbecue pretty soon though. Although it's cold as hell. I got hailed on today, so maybe we don't worry about it just yet. I'm gonna finish this crappy beer. I may crack the other one just to make up for it. It's a nice can though. Such a cool name. Yeah, I'm not gonna miss that one when it's gone. I'm not gonna buy it again. Hard cider on tap is nice, and for a very nice non-alcoholic drink, there's a place nearby that has kombucha on tap. I hate kombucha. I used to work at an organic grocery store, very high-end clientele. Um, Many of them believed that they were a whole different species than those of us who wore the aprons. But man, there was such a great kombucha selection there. And I tried almost all of it trying to find a kombucha to like. Because I always feel that if I really don't like a drink, it's because I haven't found the right one yet. There are two things that I have given up on. One is tequila. I realize it's not that everyone's like, you just got to get good tequila. Shut up. I don't like tequila. And the other one is kombucha. Just two things I can't get with. Alain owns the Husqvarna 13, and he loves it. It swings so well in one hand, perfect for splitting small logs. Yeah, it's a nice little kindling axe. I don't own it yet. I've played with one at one point, but I don't have a Husqvarna at all. The one I think I will get at some point, when the world starts going again, is the carpenter's axe. That's the one I'm most curious about, because I'm curious about the carpenter's axe as a shape, but I'm not willing to spend grands for his money to see how well it works for me. Tenenbaum. Tenenbaum says it's possible to choke up on the handle of the small forest axe for certain applications. I guess. Yeah, but the problem for me isn't the choking up; it's the length of the tail when I'm trying to do like fine work. Just what? Outdoor Dauber just found a small hatchet in his trapping gear this week. Don't even remember having it. How do you manage these things, man? By the way, let's take a vote. Do you guys like this mic better or the other mic I use when I've got these cans on? Which is this. This is my usual sort of higher end mic when I'm not just sort of using my little gaming headset. The mic I'm using right now is more affordable, but I'm having trouble with this. So like I'll be talking on this, and so I don't know. If this one sounds fine, then maybe I just won't go back to the blue mic. I would like to switch to a USB mic anyway at some point, but that's not really what this episode is about. I just want to know what you guys think of the sound, one versus the other. I get the feeling that this one's going to have more of an old school radio sound to it. Yeah, Serge's out of work. Man, life is beating up on you, dude. I'm really hurting for you. Serge, you're going to Saint Jean sur Richelieu. Nice around there. Far. I felt like a badass bushman when I hiked uphill all day up Zuma Canyon, and at the very near end survived assault by a tenant. Oh yeah, I remember that story. Edgar's gonna send me a picture of the. Whoop whoop whoop! Hold on. Oh no, I got lost again. Sorry guys. Oh, Jake's out of here. Okay, see you later, Jake. See you later. Yeah, stay healthy, man. Outdoor Dauber says I got hailed on today. I mean, it was snow flurries now. It was like 65 degrees freedom like 3 days ago. It must be spring in Pennsylvania. Yeah, it was I think like 3 today or something. It was -3 yesterday. I don't quite remember, but because the days are all rolling into one, but we've had some very low temperatures. We got hailed on twice today. We got snow this week or last week, sorry, as well. It's like please. Hawaii Volcano Squad, can't believe that I don't like the tequila. Um, hold on. No tequila sunrise, no margarita. Margarita, I prefer the daiquiri. A lot of people like tequila, and I'm consistently being told that I just need to find a really good tequila. But the thing is, I don't want to put that kind of work in. I don't want to have to find a good anything. If it's not in my palate, it's just not my palate. Now, part of this has to do with the fact that I had a very bad morning due to tequila once, and so just the smell of it reminds me of like the worst nausea of my life, the worst headache of my life, and the absolute worst regret, morning after regret of my life. May have something to do with it. Not going to go any further down that line of discussion. $7, man. Down in the States, you got. Actually, I don't remember if you're in the States, creative redundancy. But I do know that a lot of my American friends get way better deals than I ever see. Mark prefers the blue mic. I'm gonna listen to this video later and see how it sounds to me. You'd have to hear one mic after another to have a good opinion. Maybe what I'll do is some of the moderators here, I'll just connect them both to my Focusrite box here during a private live stream and just A/B them. This one, that one, this one, that one. See which one sounds better. Excuse me. Winder says, I lost it. Jeez, stop commenting. Wonders, can't speak on the current mic versus the blue. Whatever mic. I would say the current mic sounds fine to me. Good to know. Hawaii Volcano Squad must have tequila in his life. It's good to know. I must have scotch in my life. Everyone's got something, right? I don't mean everyone's got a booze. I mean, everyone's got something. For me, scotch is where it's at. I've been picking up a lot of different sort of boutique gins lately as well. I've always kind of liked gin. I like gin because I like the botanicals. You know, I like the fact that it smells and tastes like juniper. It's funny. I had this thought about lavender today because I grew up hating the smell of lavender. This soap smells of lavender. No, this car smells of lavender because it has one of those little air fresheners. No, and there's a very big lavender farm, sort of on the North Shore. Ish. I don't know. It's further than that, but anyway. And my wife's family loves it there. And for somebody's birthday, we were going to go on a picnic there. And I was just like, no, not lavender. And then I was standing in this field with row after row of lavender. And suddenly the weird air freshener lavender smell that I had grown up with was eradicated by this earthy, planty, effulgent, sparkly bouquet of actual, real, naturally growing lavender. And my entire opinion about lavender pivoted on that moment. You know, and so we've got some like lavender water and stuff for the grocery, not for the groceries. I wash down every grocery that we buy before it comes in, so for the laundry and stuff. But it's all based on this actual plant rather than all these chemicals. And my opinion of lavender is much better than it used to be. I find like any vegetable or whatever that I eat, that where I can taste the earthiness in it, like a cucumber or whatever. I really like that because I associate it with earth and water and sunlight. You know, it's the taste of the natural world growing, and stuff like that really helps my mood. I've gotten behind again. Sorry, guys. No, nice. Tyler finally charred and oiled his grindstone stand. I like it. Pixar didn't happen, dude. Savs, The apartment is owned by the parents of an old boss who fired me 8 years ago. I still kept him on Facebook, and when he posted the ad on FB, I jumped on it. He's also an axe junkie. I like it. Sometimes it's good to stay in touch, eh? Oh, I'm not supposed to be drinking beer yet. I'm tea yet. I'm just finishing beer. Oh no, Nick. Scheiße. Hold on. Oh my land, it's. Hold on. Nick says, I dislike both kombucha and tequila as well. Also, not a fan of coffee though. I'm a tea drinker myself. However, I make my wife her coffee in a stovetop mocha pot every morning. And if that's how I had discovered coffee rather than that little paper cone, I would probably be a coffee monster. The scent and the taste are so much more alive in one of these than in that silly little drip machine. It's like a completely different drink. But I'm still a tea guy. When I'm feeling hoity-toity, I'll have a latte. Serge, that is possibly the most important thing you could have said at any point in your life. I think that is absolutely true. And people who torch a bridge when they pass on by invariably end up regretting it at some point. Creative redundancy. Yes, that's true. Some mics need to be a little closer. That's true. Yeah, I'd forgotten the creative redundancy was up here. Hey, Scott. Hey, ho, neighbors. How are you? Oh, you nutsacks. Yeah, I see we're going down the nutsack route again. Someone on here has a nutsack. I would ask for pictures, but I'm afraid he would. Shut up, Jesse. Tyler. Creative redundancy. I have recently finally picked up an old Tom gin, which I have been not like going through, but I've been experimenting with as a mixing drink. For those of you who don't know or possibly don't care, it'll take me like 2 seconds. Old Tom gin was it's a historical variant that is not as dry as a London Dry or a Plymouth. It's much it's fruitier, bigger taste, and it mixes very differently. I have a recipe. I have actually, I don't have this recipe. Here's a recipe I came across while watching How to Drink. It's for a martini. This recipe is like a century and a bit old, and it calls for Old Tom and absinthe, but the SAQ is out of all alcohol right now. SAQ is the Quebec Liquor Commission. So I can't make the recipe because I need to have an absinthe, but I will try it because I have the right gin for it. And Old Tom is it makes you work for it a little bit more than a London Dry, but I really I'm loving exploring these flavors. But to get back on track here, guys, a couple of you have told me what you're doing to stay sane. And what are you guys having as much trouble being trapped as I am? Like, I'm just going on the fact that everyone I know is going crazy in some way, either because they're trying to work and their spouse is trying to work and they got 2 kids. That's us. Or they feel trapped. That's me. Or, Hike with Mike says that where he is, it's almost a non-issue for him. But I know that for some of you, and Serge is in a terrible position, but I know that some of you are suffering somewhat. But is there anyone here who's just fine with this, so long as they don't get sick and die? Is there anyone who doesn't need to cope the way several of us really, really do? Outdoor. I like it. um, I've also been working a lot with rum. Obviously you can make a very basic rum and coke uh, stuff. I use 3 different rums, and then there's another one that I'm not allowed to touch. Okay, when I'm mixing or whatever, I use Appleton's little funky Jamaican action. Um, the one with the seal on it. God damn it, Tyler, what's it called again? For like a dark and stormy. I have Mount Gay because I sail, and that's like the official sailing rum. Actually, haven't sailed at all this year. When I say I sail, I don't own a sailboat. I crew on a 30-foot Beneteau from the 1970s. Lots of tumble home, very over-engineered, beautiful boat. Survived an impact going from 4 knots down to 0 on a massive chunk of rock. But the keel did have to be fixed. Anyway, and of course, what's it called? It's like the straight up, almost cliche Cuban rum. With the gold and dark foil label. What's it called? Someone will say. Serge. Here's the thing. I have almost no experience with bourbon. I'm looking for a good yet affordable bourbon to add to the collection for mixing, for making vanilla and several things like that. Maybe Buffalo Trace, maybe Maker's Mark. I'm not familiar enough with bourbon to know what's a good one without blowing a lot of money. So those of you who are bourbon heads, if you can just throw me a lifeline here. Yeah, Mark, you're absolutely right. Real lavender does beat artificial. Nick. Man, the more I hear from Nick, the more I'm like, she's okay, guys. She's aight. Sometimes outdoor. Sometimes. Little lavender hibiscus beer. Actually, the last time a flavored beer came to one of our outings, it was Alain Belso who had it. Was it an apricot, Alain? Or was it peach? What was it? It was one of the it was a saison by McCausland's, wasn't it? Whatever their saison of the year was, or no, they don't call it a saison. What do they call it? Ephemer. Oh no, that's not them. But it's their summertime beer. I think I'm caught up, guys. Hold on. Almost. No, I'm not. Oh my god, no, I'm not. You'll drink and eat lavender soon. Yuck. Speaking of veggies, I've been growing green onions. Nice. Creative redundancy. Nice. We haven't started our veggie garden yet. I do love vegetable gardening, though. There's a real sort of back to the earthiness of growing your own veggies that I just love. And I also love the smell of a newly watered garden. We do it every year. It's a small garden, but I mean, we're not that big a family, by which I mean there's only 3 of us that eat. Well, it's funny because now Clemence is eating like peppers and um, cucumbers and stuff as well. So, yeah, I love me the natural materials. Outdoor daughter's been foraging wild onions. Nice. French press is good. Hawaii Volcano Squad. Yeah, man. French press is good. Everyone's suddenly saying, shut up, Jesse. What the hell? Oh, yeah. And Tyler, of course, keeps bringing back my most famous quote. It's funny. Oh, you like the Hendrix, eh? Hawaii Volcano Squad? Yeah, it's a very popular one. We've got a bunch of sort of local indie or boutique gins. It's funny, before I sorry guys, before I dove really hard into gin, my favorite was like the Bombay Sapphire. But it's like so much going on with gin these days. Here in Quebec, the SAQ, which is our liquor commission, has been named an essential service, so I can still buy booze. The shelves are empty, but I can still walk in, provided I wait in line for a half hour and then wash, alcohol, wipe my hands. And they don't have orange bitters, and they don't have absinthe, and they don't have my favorite Canadian whiskey because everything's out. Yes, sir. That is one thing I can always come back to time and time again. Creative redundancy says is creating, and I like it. I think that here's the thing. I think we're all born creators. Some of you guys, I mean, Nate, for instance, me, uh, anyone here who's making videos, that's making something, that you're being creative. If you're writing a lot, you're being creative. If you're carving, you're being creative. Excuse me while I mute my mic for a second. You don't have to be painting to be creative. You don't have to be writing the great Canadian novel or a great American novel, I think you guys say down there, or whatever. We have this idea that being creative, there's like this false religiosity around it in some ways. And everybody's creative. Everybody creates every single day. I watch children. Believe me, I watch children a lot these days. And we're born artists. It's the school system that kicks that right out of us. When I was a kid, I got in so much trouble in school because, I would finish my test, math or French or whatever, and immediately turn the paper over and draw all across the entire back. Look, I drew a snake and a car and a mailman and a policeman, whatever. I was constantly drawing, and my teachers were always sending notes home. Why do we stifle our children's creativity? I used to draw on the walls and get in stuff for it. And we don't give Clemence hell when she draws on the walls. What we do is we give her chalk instead of markers. And we didn't give Camille hell when she drew on the walls. We gave her chalk instead of markers. Because I grew up having my artistic muscle being kicked to the curb. And I still managed to maintain it for a long, long time. I was apprenticed to a painter at one point. He was actually a cousin of my mother's, but I mean, he was a professional painter. He painted pictures, and that's how he paid his rent. And he had in turn been, as a child, as a tweenie, and then a teenager, and then a young adult, he had been apprenticed to a very big name Quebec painter. And even and like he always sort of taught me not to buy into um, art establishment. He wasn't part of the establishment at all. He rejected that crap, and he he passed very in a very untimely fashion, and I just stopped painting. I don't do that anymore. I don't think I have anything around me that I've done. I have stuff that I did because I went into college in graphic design, and then I went into filmmaking in university. So I maintained the artistic muscle, but I don't paint anymore. When people ask me why, I always sort of jokingly say that it's because I believe that everybody should let their family down that hard at least once in their life. And it was years before I sort of made the connection that it was Ime dying that kind of started me down the road to not doing it anymore. But anyways, my point here is that everyone here is a creator in some way. Nick is absolutely a creator. She makes fabulous work that I can't afford. Tyler, same deal, fabulous work. He works in leather, he works in metal. And we look at these people and say maker, but we're all makers. Very few people have successfully buried that all the way. And I think that right now is a time when we can really get in touch with that to maintain just a little bit of sanity. My mother would have told you and did on many times tell me that she could not draw. She didn't have an artistic bone in her body. She's retired. She's taking a watercolors course. She's doing like a whatever bricolage is in English. Like she makes little books and stuff using whatever the craft version of found footage is. She takes these ancient books apart and uses them to create things. I've got tons of it around here, and I don't have any of it at my desk right now. She makes great work, and she was always the type to say, I can't do anything. I mean, I'm really riffing hard on what creative redundancy has said, but it's because what he said hits on something for me. Because I think it's sad that some people are ever in the position to say, I can't draw. I can't stuff. We're a creative species. And if we would just give ourselves a break and let the muscle work itself. Serge is creative. He worked in graphic design for a long time. We actually worked together at a company way a long time ago. The company is still there. The boss is still there. Oh well, he's moved to I think Prague now. But he was a graphic designer. I was a graphic designer. What do you guys think? I mean, are any of you the type that says I can't do art? And I wonder if the secret is don't call it art. Call it crafts. Call it a hobby. Chocolatey. Malediction is one of my fallbacks. It's a milk stout, little chocolatey, little vanilla. It's not too heavy on the alcohol either. What is it? 5%, straight up normal Canadian beer, 500 ml. It's a perfect safety net. I'm probably way behind again because I really started riffing, but Alain, the government is helping me out, and I'm an introvert, so everything is fine. Got it. I'm an introvert, by the way. I'm an absolute introvert. Okay. Wait, let me get to the bottom of the comments, and then I'll get back to that. Alain, don't let me forget. I'm an introvert. Okay. I agree with Simon. I'm okay with certain states starting to open up. I welcome the fact that they're running this possibly uncontrolled experiment, so we don't have to. I keep thinking back to 1918, the Pennsylvania. No, Pennsylvania is a state. What's Philadelphia experiment, where you're in the midst of a raging Spanish flu pandemic, and they loosened up the restrictions to do like an Armistice Day parade, because they had been doing fairly well. They'd had everything kind of under control. Whatever, 200,000 people show up for this Armistice Day parade, and suddenly you've got like 6,500 dead. And so if I don't remember which states it is that are opening up. There are no provinces really opening up. Quebec is sort of talking about it. But the fact that you guys, wherever you are running this experiment so that we don't have to, all the power to you. Okay? I think you'll regret it. But sometimes you can't tell people. They just have to make their own mistakes. Similarly, these people who are doing, I'm getting political. I will just say one thing. These people who are doing all these demonstrations about their rights, I support you, because this means that there will be less of people like you around. Back to dealing with our pain. HVS, I would stare at that too. I have many coins. I have a fairly massive foreign currency collection. I don't think it's worth anything. I mean, I've got some fairly expensive-ish things. I've got a couple of old Canadian hundreds in good condition or whatever, but I don't have any real barn burners. But I love looking at it. I love looking at coins, Irish coins from before they turned to euros. Bloody beautiful. In a very sort of 19th/20th century way. Man, I've got one coin. I don't remember which country it is, and I don't remember anything about it because I'm drinking beer. But just a gorgeous coin. So I would sit there and stare at my stacks of coins as well. Gold and silver, obviously worth a lot more than what I have, but I don't. I'm trying not to collect anything anymore, but I'm not going to get rid of that. But I didn't collect it for the monetary value. I just like looking at the pictures and the designs. Creative Redundancy has been sewing more. Made a Quincy before it melted. Nice. I'm always afraid to sleep in a Quincy because I'm claustrophobic. Organizing and cleaning. Now you're turning soil and did the dig and drop way of composting. Nice. That sounds cool, man. I like it. It's funny because we're supposed to be talking about maintaining our sanity, and all I'm doing is trying to catch up to the end of the discussion. Yes, Cuba Libre. Yeah, absolutely. That's what I was trying to think of before HVS, the Cuba Libre. Not Buffalo Trace. Hate that one. Get book Bourbon Bartender by Jane Danger. One thing that I should mention is that, by the way, I'm going to take note of that book though before I say what I was about to say. One thing I do have to mention is that Quebec's market is terrible. And I picked a bronze pen. It's okay. Bourbon Bartender Jane Danger. Apricot. Yes, Alain. Oh my god, this shows just how far behind I got. Hold on. Oh my land! I'm so far behind. Hold on. Sorry. I'm never gonna catch up. Hey, it's 22:15. Does anyone want to get in on the conversation? This would do two things. First of all, get someone in on the conversation. Second, I would actually be able to figure out if I'm actually not hearing something, or if the problem is here or if the problem is here. Let me get back to where. No. Okay. Alain says apricot. Yes. Nick. Yes, absolutely. Come on. You and Tyler are fabulous. Keeping sane by yapping lots with pals. You've been trying to figure things out. Conclusions are no fun at all. Appreciate for simple things like hot water and tap water. Absolutely. I am so there with you. I thought I was caught up, but I'm not. Yeah, having online access, it's amazing because I'd love to know. I've mentioned this before, but I don't remember where and I don't remember with whom. I think I was talking to Simo. Maybe it was a previous live stream, but I would love to know what the stats are on bandwidth usage right now. Like how much it's up from before this, because everyone I know is Zooming. I speak to my mother so much more often than I did before. I just like, boop, FaceTime. Hey, mom, how's it going? I'm going crazy. Me too. I speak to my dad more often. I speak to everyone, man. My bandmates, we had cocktails over Zoom last week. So I would like to know what the stats are on bandwidth usage right now. And I do wish I'd bought stock in Zoom before this thing hit. I'm just gonna skip forward a little bit here, guys, because I'm nowhere near. No, Mark, I've never tasted Zaya rum. Where's it from? Yeah, we're going the same way. It's we've got masks incoming. They're out everywhere, so we ordered some online, and they'll come when they come. Yeah, it's funny what Simone says here. Like in Montreal here, there's a permanent fire ban on burning wood, anything other than like pellets or gas. I use my little IKEA stove to sort of poke the law in the eye, but without making too big a point of it. Mark, man, on terrible. Are you kidding? You're in like canoeist paradise. Outdoors got a 1968 Singer. Nice. Singer, unfortunately, has gone out of business. Well, they were in bankruptcy protection about 10 years ago. Just goes to show you how the world has changed. People are not making the way they used to. Nate created routes on your bike to check the mail or go to work last week. Different loops on your daily. That's actually a good point. We have started taking a bike ride whenever we can, like when it's not hailing on us, because we're still allowed to do that. I just maintaining a certain active lifestyle, I feel, is important. We're still doing our karate class. Camille and I, we're doing it over Zoom now instead of in person, obviously, because lockdown. But it's important to stay. I'm fatter than I was when this started. Okay, so doing my karate class every 2 week, twice a week, where I end up like gasping and sweaty by the end of it, is important to me. And I do feel that moving helps keep my brain, keep it steady. Oui, t'allais tout le monde qui avait quelque chose à raconter. I agree. I'd like to hear from you guys a bit. Excited. Hold on. Um, yeah, I'm just gonna skip ahead here, guys. Sorry. I'm a maker, a baker, banana. I should have just skipped across that. Oh, there's some good stuff here, but who the hell knows? VHS, HVS. Who the hell knows? Hey, fix it yourself. Uh, sure. I guess. I think living is more important. Here's my thing: fix it yourself. I have a daughter who is immunocompromised. So I see this kind of thing the same way as I see anti-vaxxers. Your thing, whatever. If you get sick and die, it's kind of not my problem. But if you feel that, I'm not saying you, I'm saying this thing in general. Um, that's kind of, I guess, they're right. If my kid gets sick because of someone, I don't have to pay for my lawyer. So I will make those people, I will lawyer up and make those people essentially spend the rest of their lives paying for that mistake. Um, by the way, okay, so I'm sort of catching up. Yes, I am an introvert. It's easy to do on camera, though. It's easy for me to be conversational on camera, and honestly, it's much easier than it used to be in person either, because I've worked my ass off at it. I do believe that having a discussion does promote sanity. That's why I'm talking with you guys about this tonight. Creative or done it. You can't really gain weight. He has a very high metabolic rate. I wish. Yeah, HVS. That's a good question. It's like we've both been doing this long enough that when the sensei does a move, we know the move. And he can see us, we can see him. He can sort of say, "Not so great there." Uh, I'm just trying to get to the bottom of the conversation. Did I make it? Am I at the bottom of the conversation? I think I'm at the bottom of the conversation, guys. I think I made it. Simo hates Zoom. That's okay. Scott, I don't even want to know. Don't even want to know where you can get sumo thongs. Also, yuck. I see now it's in my head, right? Now it's all visual and crap, and I'm like, oh god, hot ass summer day, 400 pounds of man meat flopping around what do they work in a cage? No. In a ring? A ring? Excuse me. I think I made it to the end of the conversation, guys. Boom. I just want to check one thing. Oh, for land's sakes, I just got a friend request on Facebook from this person. It's real, right? She totally wants to be my friend. She's been watching my videos and she's into me, right? That's totally it. I completely believe that. Excuse me while I block your ass. I was just seeing if anyone was saying anything to me on, like, dude, stop talking. But I think we're okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Looks legit. I get those all the time. And I think it's because it's just these girls like me. They like the dad bod. I have reached the end of the internet. This beer is so good. I find that at this time if you're not careful, like, man, a lot of people are making cocktails, a lot of people are drinking a lot of booze, a lot of people are doing, like, I make a 5 o'clock cocktail for my wife every day now, and myself most days as well. First of all, I feel like my grandparents, but you kind of gotta, like, I didn't do it today. I didn't do it yesterday because you kind of got to stay on top of that to make sure you don't slip into like a habit, you know? But it's funny because I have some good memories of my grandparents. Both my grandmothers were very, very strident individuals. No, my father's mother was a very strident individual. My mother's mother was very controlling. Um, we had an uncle. At this point, he wasn't an uncle because he was a young person, and I wasn't even a twinkle in the milkman's eye, and he was clearly going to be a problem. He was clearly developing wrong, and my grandmother was told that the only way that he could really be helped was to go to this expensive school in the United States. So she stopped going to this doctor and spent that money on redoing the living room, and the uncle became a problem. You know, I didn't like that grandmother, and the day she died, I didn't feel anything. I was like, okay, that's done. The other grandmother was very strident, but kind of an interesting woman and kind-hearted in her own way. Both my grandfathers were fabulous, just fabulous. Just great, great guys. But I have this like nice memory of being at my dad's parents in Ottawa, and it being like 5 o'clock, and my grandpa Ferd saying to my grandma Alice, "You want a drink?" And she always said yes because it was the 5 o'clock drink. She had a rum and stupid. She had a gin and tonic in a tall glass, as it should be served. In a highball. Just bog standard gin, right? London. Beefeater's London Dry and tonic water, whatever, Schweppes or Canadian um, Canada Dry or something. I mean, that woman verbally clobbered me a lot. But it's a good memory. I think because it's a comforting memory. Being at their house in Ottawa was always such a low key experience, and I didn't have a lot of low key experiences growing up. I grew up shift eating poor, violent streets, drug busts, the whole thing, and their place was separate from all that. I don't know why I'm talking about this silliness. I shouldn't be, but anyways, it's just it's a nice memory. Oh yeah, because I'm making my wife a 5 o'clock cocktail, and that's what they did. And it feels like this. Neither of them will ever know about this little connection I now feel with them because they're both gone. But I don't know. It kind of helps. It brings a little stability to the days. You know. Yeah, Nate says Crown Lawn camping is now banned in Ontario. Man, it's funny. It's not funny. It's terrible. I was supposed to go on a fairly longish, by which I mean not long at all, canoe camping trip the first weekend of May with our with Pine Martin, but that sure ain't gonna happen. Personally, it's a loss for me because I was very much looking forward to this, but there are reasons for this right now. It's not going to be forever. Yeah, we're losing some freedoms on top of it, so it's kind of hard to whinge about Crown Lawn camping when they're, well, I don't know about Ontario, but in Quebec we got um, emergency measures going on. I am disappointed I need to hit the woods, but it will come again. You know. Whoa! It's 4:30 in Hawaii. Wait, it's 4:30 in Hawaii. Yes, it's 4:30 in the afternoon. So yeah, HVS, you're almost ready for your 5 o'clock cocktail. Hold on, I'm just scrolling back because Creative, I didn't know you had a damn channel, and I can't click on it. Simone, can you put up a link or one of my not monitors, not modems, moderators? Put up a link to Creative Redundancy's channel because I can't do it here because I want to check that out. You know, it's possible, Creative, that I do know, but the beer is kind of out of my brain. Forget about it. The world's against you and doesn't want you to paddle anywhere. I know, Simo. I feel it. This entire thing is because I was supposed to go on a trip. Emergency tyranny, HVS says, and maybe here's the thing. If people do stupid things, the legal system tightens up on us, you know. I think that, and it's easy for me to defend this because when I am biking or doing something but staying the hell away from people and I go past a park and I see like a couple of teenagers being all like love in the age of cholera or whatever, I'm like, stop it. They're going to take away your freedoms if you don't start paying attention. You know, if you don't start, if we don't do the smart thing, because here's the thing, what we're talking about is lives here. There's over 1,000 people dead in Quebec right now, which is nothing compared to New York State, but we know how to save each other. We also know that if we don't play our part, the government will make us play our part. So be safe. Don't get other people sick. Wash your damn hands. Stay home. It sucks to be out of work, absolutely. But the fact is, if they open up the businesses, more people will die. And the legal bills that a government that does that will likely have to pay will cost you in taxes like you would not believe. In a country that is litigious, as the United States is. Even in Canada, I can pretty much guarantee you that any government that opens up the economy and ends up with like 6,000 dead or 10,000 dead will fall in the next election. So maybe it is emergency tyranny for now, but it's temporary. Nobody in Canada or the US is going to make it a permanent thing, no matter what the fearmongers are saying. I agree with you. Creative redundancy about those urban gardens. I used to live near one. It was beautiful to walk past it on a rainy day. The smell of the earth and yeah. What Alain says here, we're all missing something. This COVID-19 sucks. It's true. You know, I miss being able to go downtown. It's funny, you know, you miss things that you don't do a lot. Because I didn't go downtown a lot anymore. Because I just purely didn't have time. But I miss going down to the cinema. I miss going to the park. I miss many things. I'm not okay with what's happening right now. I'm not okay with my rights being reduced. But I understand that it has to happen right now. And there will be no excuse to maintain this once things get better. Look, we're going to have another wave of this thing. Maybe we'll have another wave after that. We don't know if it'll be a worse wave or not so bad. You know? And that's the way these influenza things happen. They come in waves. Tenenbaum bringing the bitter truth. I'm Tenenbaum. I'm always impressed with how late you can stay up, because I grew up as one of these kids who was at his best between like 2 and 4 in the morning, but I just can't do it anymore. So I'm always impressed by how late you can stay up, sitting there in Europe. Yeah, like I don't want to come across as someone who is like, yeah, man, take away my rights. But there's like a happy medium between buckling under to totalitarianism and being an idiot standing, neck to jowl with your fellow idiot with a placard in your hand right now. Stay home. It's smarter. It's smarter to just stay home. Wash your hands. Wash your groceries before you bring them in. It's the kind of thing that we didn't ever used to have an argument about because we weren't in that kind of world. It wasn't an automatic trampling of your rights to say stay home because there's a pandemic outside. The last time there was a pandemic. Nate says, oh man, it's funny, Nate, because I just threw this up without even reading it. Absolutely. Nate says it's a two-parter, so I'll just read you the whole thing. Now, the only problem I have with the Crown Line and Parks ban is that it creates a juxtaposition between the wealthy or lucky that have cottages versus those who depend on public outdoor areas for their outdoor recreation and even vacationing. And that is a very good point. I sort of grew up being an eat the rich kind of guy. Okay. But one thing that this crisis has definitely taught me is that by hook or by crook, even if I have to pay for it all myself, I'm getting a piece of land to build a little cabin on. Because I think my head space would be much, much healthier if I was trapped in the woods instead of in the most populous borough in Montreal. That's what I think. Oh, Simone put up Creative Redundancy's site. Everyone go take a look. If you like what you see, subscribe. I'll take a look right after we're done here. Serge put up a link to a video. I don't know what it is. I will also check that when we're done here. Oh, HVS, are you getting low on booze over there? We are definitely getting low on booze in my house. Hold on. Crap, I just got lost. Simone was quicker than I. Okay, so Serge was sharing a Creative Redundancy video. Don't burden the system. Absolutely. Yeah, you guys have a slightly different system down there than we do. Like we have a whole Bill of Rights, but there are unwritten associated responsibilities, which people tend to forget. It's funny because income tax was supposed to be temporary, like to pay for the war effort, but it sure wasn't temporary. But then, what Simone says is true as well, and I very much fall on this side of that equation, I guess. And in the States, I mean, it's rights and personal freedoms and stuff is a much, much bigger deal than it is here. So I understand that we're just coming at this from a different point of view, and it's a point of view that is extremely unpopular in your country. I get that. Hey, Avid Outdoorsy guy is here, and he says, "Yo!" Always nice to see that guy. He'll be in an upcoming panel discussion. in case he's forgotten, and I've just reminded him. Ethan, man, I'm trying to catch up with the with the side discussion, and I'm not catching up. I was caught up for like a brief 30 seconds, and then Nate's wondering how your nap was, Ethan. Man, Ethan, that was a good live stream. I very much enjoyed that. First of all, I love Dennis. I think he's good people. I think he's working his ass off to get that channel up to, to increase his subs. I'm a very big fan of Dennis's. I think he's doing it right. I think I should be taking notes, and he's catching up with me, man. He's catching up with me in a big way. He's north of 2,000 now. He absolutely deserves it, though. And tonight's stream was very good. I found. Wow, there's a thing redundancy. I think things will boomerang. We've definitely got a second wave coming, at least. And if we're not very careful, it could be. The Spanish flu in 1918. The first wave was deadly, but not very infectious, right? It had a higher death rate per infected person than the second wave, but it was very tame in terms of infection rates. The second wave was marginally lower in terms of deaths, but it was very infectious, right? So the end result is the first wave was fairly mild, essentially. The second wave just beat the stuffing out of everything, and then there was a third wave. That's the way influenzas really work when it's something pandemic sized. And so what we got to remember here is that when this wave is all done, that doesn't necessarily mean we're out of the woods. Maybe we are, but I kind of don't think we will be. Most of your boost to a storage locker. I don't have that much. I don't have enough to fit into to fill a storage locker. Oh man, there's some shade going between Nate and Ethan tonight, man. Hold on. Yes, Hawaii. I am a subject of the crown, and it's weird because the crown doesn't have it doesn't directly rule. The crown in Canada is like a president in most parliamentary systems. In the States, it's a little different. Like in the States and in Latin America, you've got the presidential system, but like the president of a country like Ireland is kind of like what our governor general or the queen are. But yeah, we're technically subject to the crown. Oh, Ethan, really? Really? It's okay. It's fine. Nobody's judging. Okay, Nate. Here's the thing. Yeah, that's an interesting question. If I was told to stay home, what is let's open this up. Okay, everyone. Because this is a good Nate, man. You and the questions. This is a good question. If all of y'all had a cabin that was 3 hours away, at which you would be away from everyone, but you were told to stay home, what would you do? Because in early days, I'm tempted to say I would just beat it for the cabin before what I knew was coming came. But at this point, I would stay home. Like at this point in the event, I would just stay home because I wouldn't make it to the cabin without being stopped by a checkpoint anyway. It's not worth a $1,000 to $6,000 fine for me. But early when this thing happened, like as soon as everything was happening, I would bug out. But here's the thing. But if you do that, like we're not talking about a permanent end to society. So I would come home to probably a burgled house. Like, what's that worth? If someone takes my TV, take it, please. I want a new one. But I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I said what I said, and now I'm questioning myself. Right now, I'm pulling back. What do you guys think? It's an interesting question. Like maybe I wouldn't go to the cabin. U.S. still has an alcohol tax to pay for the Civil War. Yikes. Dennis, congratulations on tonight's live stream. That was a coup. That was good stuff. I'm sorry I had to leave early to come online, but I do believe I have yeah, I like where your channel is going. I think you deserve the success you're getting. Good stuff. And by the way, welcome to the live stream. Yeah, that's an interesting question. Well, that's part of the question, right? Is your cabin technically your home? Your home is technically where you've got your mortgage, right? Like I don't know how it works in the States, but here, if I buy this house, which I did, and I buy a cabin, only one of them is my residence. So I don't know. And like the thing is, here I'm set up for day-to-day life. If I had a cabin, I would see. Okay. I'll try that again. Here I'm set up for day-to-day life. At my cabin, I would be set up for vacation life. So I don't know if I would have enough supplies to last like the whole pandemic. And then I would end up trapped there and then spending like a mint at whatever is their local store, you know? Oh, avid outdoorsy guy. Ethan says, I'd stay home. Most of my supplies are here. The cabin would be the last resort. Fair enough. Right? Especially fair enough because it's kind of what I was saying. Serge, your situation is a wild card though. Yeah, Canoe Hound, Dennis. He was saying that in the last little while of your live stream, he was a little worse for wear. Well, Scott's being very clear. Sorry, out of my way. I'm going to my cabin. Don't piss me off. Fair enough too. Like I'm torn because to me, I would rather be in a cabin than my city house all the time. You know, like if I had an excuse to bug out to my cabin, I would grab it because I'm surrounded by trees instead of neighbors. Hell yeah! But I don't know if that'd be the right decision. You know. HVS just says, just accelerate through checkpoints. Yeah, because I want to die. Emergency measures mean you do anything, they'll stop you and you'll probably go to jail. Well, there's the thing, Nate. I'm coming at it from my own sort of position, and I think my reality would be that my house is where all my supplies are, and the cabin is where my vacation stuff is. But it's funny because my wife came down the stairs one night and said, "You know what? When we're done here with this pandemic, we're gonna set up a room full of canned goods. We're gonna be prepared for the next one, so that we're not going shopping once a week." And I think she's right. And I think that a knock-on effect of that would be that if we had a country place, we would set that up as well. And just give me 1 second. And have like a cache there as well, just to cover all of our bases. And the thing is, with a cache of canned goods and freeze dried or whatever, what we have to do is every year check to see what's sort of starting to come up to its best before date within like a month or two. Donate all that and replace it. Because at the end of the day, the headspace is better if you know that you're prepared for what's about to come. And I'm not saying that as a doomsday prepper. I'm saying that as someone who realizes that being prepper averse was probably a mistake. Tenenbaum says this idea that your house might not be safe if you're left alone for a long time is a problem anytime you have two priorities, though maybe it is even more scary now. Well, and it's funny, Bomb, because do I really care if somebody breaks in and steals my stuff? Like, okay, my insurance bill the following year will be higher, but my stuff can be replaced. If my family would be safer sitting at a cabin and just like, if the house burns down, for all we care, we'll just let insurance handle it. Is that not the better choice? Rider clause on that, though, is running to like a rural, like if your cabin wasn't like in the sticks, but it was rather in a small town, would running to the small town be completely irresponsible? Running the risk, knowing as we now know that some people who are not presenting any symptoms can still be carriers, running to that small town might be, might be a cruel mistake, might be selfish, might be spreading the disease, you know? Like, that's why I'm not coming down firmly on the head to the cabin side. I would love to just head to the cabin, provided there was Wi-Fi. But I don't know. Like, I'm of two minds of it on this. That's, I think, why Nate was asking what he considered to be a controversial question, because maybe he's not sure either. Maybe most people who are like, I would so do that, in their minds are like, I would so do that, but maybe I wouldn't. Dennis asks, yes, Nate, do you have a shed in your backyard I can check up for a week or so, or is that considered a cabin? If he has a spot I can shack up in, I'll be like on the road like that. Yeah, I know that HVS. I wonder which of those is more expensive though. Nate, I want to see that shed. All right, see you later. Well, Ethan, if you're still on, have a good night. If you're not, sorry I missed it. I did not stock up on TP. I bought one packet of rolls and then I bought another packet of rolls. I didn't. Funny thing about the TP thing though, I was thinking about it, and it takes up a lot of shelf space. So I saw a couple of people really stocking up, and I was like, "You guys are idiots." But it only takes like everyone taking one or two extra packs. Excuse me, guys. It only takes everyone buying a pack or two extra to empty those shelves. So I don't think that as many people really load it up as we necessarily think. It's possible that I'm wrong here. Um, Either way, I think that stocking up on toilet paper, it was dumb. I saw people stocking up, like piling their baskets high with bottles of water, and I was like, "You guys are stupid. It's not coming at you through the pipes. Bunch of idiots." But yeah, we didn't binge buy anything. which in some cases was a mistake. Here's the thing, right? You don't want to binge buy because you don't want to be dumb. You don't want people to see that you're stupid. But then suddenly you're months, you're weeks into this thing, you're weeks into this thing, and you can't get a container of Lysol wipes. We use Lysol wipes, and we can't get them now. So maybe, and it angers me to feel that you kind of get pushed into binge buying just to stave off not being able to get something. You're not necessarily buying into the concept that you gotta buy all the toilet paper in town, but you kind of gotta buy some extras just to make sure that those idiots don't take it all. You know? I'm just man, I have not had this much trouble catching up on a side chat in a long time. Yes, and there's the thing, Nate. It is a big controversy right now. Absolutely. Yeah, Mark, I could see that. Absolutely. Nate, where you live, I could absolutely see that. And to me, the reason I'll start that again. To me, the context in my head when you asked me that question was because if I was to put up a cabin or buy a cabin, I want my next neighbor to be like a kilometer away, very least. But in cottage country, it's a whole different story because what you're doing there is you're fleeing. This is the same thing that happened during the Black Plague, right? Wave after wave of it is that people in the cities would flee to the countryside, bringing the germs with them because they got there before they started presenting symptoms or whatever, right? And so to me, if I had several acres and I built myself a log cabin and gone all my self-reliance, I would go. If my country house was surrounded by other country houses, like I was in cottage country, I probably wouldn't do it. I'd stay put. Because if I ran if I knew that I had run there and spread a virus to that community, I wouldn't be able to live with it. I wouldn't. So that informs the way I approach the conversation because to me, having a country house, the dream is to have one where like I've got hectares around me, and maybe if I'm really lucky, I back onto crown land. You know. I'm trying to catch up here, but it's not happening. Wow, really, Nate? That's interesting, and it's probably a good thing, to be honest with you, because the last thing you want is a bunch of rich folks fleeing Toronto and infecting your entire neighborhood. Mark, yeah, that's interesting. His area is a Toronto weekender zone as well. Our town closed up really quick, sooner than even needed. The locals did not want to be affected. Absolutely, and I don't blame these little towns from this kind of stuff. Absolutely. Oh, Hawaii Volcano Squad's out of here. All right, see you later, man. Excuse me. I like what Mark says here. Your canoe and paddle talk are driving me nuts. Me too. I really feel the fact that I can't go on the canoe camping trip I was planning with Martin for the first weekend of May. But that's a first world problem. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't go canoe camping. Meanwhile, like over 1,000 people in my province are dead. It's hard to really make a point. Make a point for it. Make a point of it. Make a point of it. Sorry, guys. When I've been drinking, I turn all francophone. Make the point of it. Good old Serge. And here's the deal. Oh, okay. It's 11 o'clock. I'm going to go to bed because I got to be at work in the morning. But I have very much enjoyed tonight. I found it interesting that nobody sort of said, "Hey, let me get on." But maybe next week. Thanks for hanging out with me. I would love it if all of you stayed safe and healthy, no matter what you may, no matter how you're approaching this current situation. The fact is, none of us have lived through this before, and I want you all to be hale, hearty, and happy. And I hope to see you all next week. I hope to have a video up on Friday. It's shot. I just have to find some time to edit. But yeah, thanks for hanging out with me. You guys have been great, and I'll see you next week. Bye.